Thank you for being part of Dynamic Dive this morning on the Nigerian Television Authority channel, Nta Akure Dynamic Station. I am Nta Akure, bringing you this program today, and I'll be doing it all alone today because my co-presenter is unavoidably absent. This morning we have a very interesting package for you. You know, as usual, we'll be having some clips for you to at least whet your appetite. And of course, our weekly mirror segment this morning is going to be very special because we're going to talk political this morning. We're looking at issues in the political arena, especially as it concerns political parties, primaries, elections that are being conducted. You know, some parties have concluded theirs, while some are still doing theirs, and some are yet to have theirs. So all this we're going to look at this morning. And of course, we have the entertainment segment where Tolu Anime has a very good package for you. You know, we're going to have hear the gist, hear many things, and of course we're also going to have the sports segment where we are going to give you so many highlights in the sporting world. On that note, we're going to a short break right now, and after then the program continues. Please don't go away.
Nta Entertainment vibes all day. Lights, camera, Naja. Your 247 entertainment plug. the fun, feel the flow. NTA Entertainment, vibes all day. NTA Entertainment, vibes all day. Lights, camera, Naja. Your 247 entertainment plug. Catch the fun.
Thank you for still being with us on the program Dynamic Diverse Morning. And like I told you before when we went on that short break, that we're coming back with our weekly mirror segment where we're going to be talking about the political parties' primary elections that are being conducted in Nigeria currently. You know, some political parties have concluded theirs, while some are still doing theirs. So we are going to discuss all this. I have, meanwhile, before we continue with that, you know, my co-presenter for Lashade is now very much around. For Lashade, you're welcome.
Thank you. It's good to join you this week on Dynamic Diet. Thanks for always being there with us.
And like I told you, we're having a guest in the studio this morning. We're going to have two guests on this segment. One is going to join us remotely, and the other is presently. Let me introduce my guest that is here with us physically in the studio. He is the Ondo State Chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Alex Adeniyi. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, presenter. Good morning, viewers at home.
And also to join us remotely is Mode Jeffrey Abidoye. Mode Jeffrey Abidoye is a life coach, is a political crusader, is an analyst, and is youth development expert, and so many other things. National development also is involved in so many things. So, Jeffrey, Mode, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me start in the studio here with our guests. We're talking about political party primaries, the aftermath, and let's quickly look at the process first. You know, the Electoral Act 2020 permits only two types of primary: direct primaries and consensus. Can you shed more light on how this processes go?
Thank you very much once again. Viewers of home, good morning. I came up with trying to do a little adjustment with the Electoral Act 2026 by saying the indirect primary should be expunged from the process of selecting candidates. Initially, there was uproar that why it is not constitutional, it is some think it is illegal, but when we look at it, with at least it will afford everybody, citizens of the country to participate directly in selecting candidates for their various political party. We want to applaud INEC for coming up with such idea, because most of the time we discover that those who actually go for indirect primaries do not always reflect the wish of the generality of party members. But unfortunately, the consensus arrangement came in where we just saw individuals being the alpha and omega of political party, which is not supposed to be so. We expected that everybody will be given the opportunity to participate freely. But where consensus comes in, and the act, rather, when INEC was coming up, the agreement was that if there's going to be consensus, every candidate involved must come together to produce a single person. But in this case, in our case here, in the election, the just concluded primary election, almost all political parties, it is just selected few. Most of the aspirants do not even know how they come about a consensus candidate. But we want to thank God that the election have come and gone. I think what the parties are doing now is to just reconcile their members so that the party will not be factionalized and there will not be crisis post-primary election.
Okay, so my question goes to Jeffrey Abidoye. What is your general analysis about the electoral primaries of the political parties compared to last year's own?
Last election.
Last election. What is your analysis? Is it a success or they need to brace up again? Are you with us?
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much. I believe you are hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
The network is really not. I think NTA to begin to reach your bar. Let me begin from that. This kind of interview, we have seen small media houses, they've gone digital. The clarity of audio, of the visual and everything put together. I mean, I'm struggling now to speak to you because I can barely hear what you are saying.
But we can hear you clearly. I think
we can hear you loud and clear.
I'm saying that so that your management in Abuja can hear this.
The problem should be from your end, sir, not here. We can hear you here.
No, I understand what I'm saying. Maybe you don't seem to understand what I'm saying. You can do Zoom. We can talk to you directly. You can see
okay, point taken, sir. Yes.
I will not be struggling to speak so that you can hear me or I hear you. That is by the way. Back to your question now. You see, from God's creation till now, humanity is about evolution. Moving from one stage to another. Moving from one stage to another. All right, with special preference to some of the best democracies of the world, using America as a case study. All right, they've done that now for close to about 250, 260 years. They are still striving on daily basis to perfect it. If you check the last two elections between the current president and the past immediate president, there are a lot of issues and all that. Even this last election, there are allegations, there are elements of high wire rigging and all that. The point I'm making in essence is, very many of us in Nigeria are quick to judge. There is no system anywhere in the world that is perfect. You could recall that this is the longest unbroken democracy. We might not be where we think we ought to be, but we are no more where we used to be. We are making progress, but we can be better. So, comparatively, if you look at what happened last 4 years and now, there is a shift, there is a paradigm shift. There is a remarkable improvement, somehow. Particularly when they now zero it down now to consensus arrangement as well as maybe direct primary. Direct primary is what IBD called Option A4 in his own days. And that was one of the finest that this country ever had in terms of conducting an election. To begin to curtail, to contain, and then to cover and control excesses around, electoral, issues in Nigeria. But unfortunately, as much as the policy reformation, redirection, and all that is concerned, because we must give it to this present administration in terms of policy direction and all that. A lot of things are changing. But the stakeholders themselves, the actors themselves, I mean the people who are vying for elected offices with the connivance of some bad element within the party. Once they come out with this, they are looking at where that stops. They want to, circumvent it for their own selfish interest. For instance, if you look at the idea of consensus simply means they should give them a guide, a criteria to follow. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. But they just say consensus. Consensus, how do they do it? Consensus ultimately supposed to say, okay, we have 10 people that are contesting or vying for office of rep, for instance. Who is the best? They should draw a line. They should clearly define criteria to say, okay, how many years have you spent in the party, for instance? What has been your contribution to the party? How have you affected the party members? What is your track record as a person? Are you a humanitarian person? Do you have what it takes? If we give you the mandate to go and lead the people, will you be accountable and responsive? These are things that are supposed to be brought to bear. The leadership within the constituency, for instance, within the local government, whether state constituency or federal constituency, within the senatorial zone, and as well as the ward, ought to sit down, to narrow it down, to settle for the best candidate. But what do we have? We have, we often produce what I would call the highest bidder. Those who pay the piper dictate the tune. And at the end of the day, somebody who brought money from nowhere that even the people they don't even know in the unit and at the war, you just emerge. And once you use that money to now rat trips away and get to Abuja or wherever, he is not relating with us here because it's not known. He believes that he has paid the Boko Sabre on that one day and all that kind of something, so he's not accountable to anybody. That is on that. So the second one, which is a direct primary, in fact, it should be the best. We are in, me as a father in my house, we can get to, me and my family can discuss and say, okay, I'm voting for this person, I'm voting for that person. We might get there at the end of the day. My wife could be on one line, I could be on the other line. That's the beauty of democracy. So, direct primary, for me, is the best option. It's a way forward, looking at where we are coming from and looking at the future. Ultimately, I believe that comparatively, if you look at what we had 4 years ago and this present one, so eventually it was abused. They abuse now because people often say that politics is dirty. Politics is one of the finest human activities. It's not dirty. It is the player with the connivance of the officials who are interested in taking money, who believe that, it's the system of their bumper habit to reach money, to collect money from various aspirants here and there, somebody that you know that is not going anywhere. You go and collect $1 from me, collect money from me at the end of the day, and all that kind of something. So we need to do a lot. And that's one area that our own organization, by special grace of God today, I am not just Brother Jeffrey Oluwabidoye. I am the global president and CEO of Review Nigeria 360 Degree. We are poised, we are ready now to begin to engage INEC on what we call electoral education and sensitization. INEC is not doing enough. They are not doing enough to begin to educate, to begin to bring both the electorate and the potential contestants together to let them begin to bridge this gap. And then beyond that, in the new electoral law, there are sanctions, there are consequences. We are lacking in the area of consequences management. This election has come now, there are a lot of, inadequacies in it. Somebody who rigged or probably who tried to buy vote or to infuse or to influence and not negatively against the statute, the law, should be sanctioned. He should be punished. For instance, people are found to induce the electorate against their wishes and ways as a result of the level of poverty, because poverty has been deliberately weaponized by a lot of our political leaders and one way or the other who are desperate to be in political offices and so many other things and other. If there are consequences in place to that effect, the ICPC, the EFCC should be able to trace how money are moving around to buy the conscience of people here and there. After this, primaries, I expected that some of these key officials of ICPC, EFCC should be there that day. Whoever is found wanting, there should be a special court to try anybody. And then let the person go and just have 3 months in maybe the locuta, or send him to prison for 3 months. After, by the time he comes back, then let him come and, tell the people what he has done and so many other things and all that. So these are things that we should begin to look at. For me, what we just had right now, the intention is clear. It's supposed to be one of the finest consensus or direct, whichever way it is and all that. You could see that, people could not agree. We have seen that even those of those elections, both the state constituency and the federal constituency and the senate and all that, up to now, they are yet to announce it because of a lot of questionable conduct overnight, where somebody gets 12,000, for instance, and another person have 1,000, and they are declaring the person who have 1,000. We have the system supposed to screen a candidate and then announce to the candidate before. It was probably on the day of election they announced that the person is disqualified. I mean, how do you define that? Is that proper? So there are still lots of things that we need to do, but we need to begin to scrutinize those that are involved, both the party officials and what have you. In this matter, in this primary now, a lot of INEC officials are not found wanting. Most of the problems are within the party officials who are creating more problems, who doesn't want the system to work, who continuously create problems within the system, the law established and the framework and so many other things and all that. So we must begin to look at ourselves. As I said, in terms of law, we have fantastic law. In terms of policy, we have one of the finest policies that we can put in place that could benchmark or compare with anything that is operational in some of the best democracies of the world.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll be coming back to you shortly. Thank you, Geoffrey. We'll be coming back to you shortly for another question.
Well, let me come to the studio here. IPAC chairman, we have had lots of analysis over there. Let me ask you now, with all we have seen, because Bode has actually analyzed most of the things we're supposed to be analyzing here. But let me ask you the implication of this on this election, because we have seen about rancors, people now coming out with so many grievances and the rest, some leaving their former party for a new one. What is the overall effect of this on our election now?
Thank you very much, and I really want to appreciate Mode Abitoye. It's always been an inspiration listening to him all of the time, and I want to agree with most of his submissions as regarding our policies and our laws. Nigeria is about the best, but unfortunately, the players are always the problem. And I also agree that politics is not dirty, but the players are most of the time they doesn't look like they are from this planet. Coming back to the implications of these primaries across board, not only one political party,
yes,
not all of the political parties. I saw it. I also conducted a primary in my party, and I saw what went on. It's quite unfortunate that democracy up till now has not been where it's supposed to be, despite having this will be about the longest stretch we're having in this country, that we have our both executive, everybody being on democracy, let me put it that way. But unfortunately, it seems we're not learning. Every time INEC is trying to come, every time the government is trying to come with good policy that will influence, how to sustain this democracy, the players are also going extra mile to say, no, this is what we want, and they always wanted their wish, to override the interest of every other person. Direct primary would have been the best if they allow, the process to flow. And that is why up till now, there are some political parties where we still have about 3 people laying claim to 1 seat as the winner of the primary of elections. We have about 5, where we have about 6. Each time I go through their publication, I read some on the Muslim holiday. They were gracing the Muslim faithful, and they wrote senatorial candidate, House of Rep candidate. Even when we know their party within the state and in their various states have announced someone else, we don't know if they are going to present double candidate to INEC, and that is where INEC needs to now come in, and that is why I do not want to absorb INEC completely like Abidoye did. No, INEC is the umpire here. They saw everything that transpired on the field. Even our security, agents, they are not also being absorbed, because I want to say about my party, where you go to conduct election, and officials, government officials that were sent to monitor election, those are the reports we got on field, demanding money. When you are going to conduct election, it go across all the parties. When money arrives, the first people you want to settle, INEC official, security agencies, pressmen, doesn't even absorb the pressmen, because you only report what favors you, what suits you. That's what they come back to report to us all of the time. And most of us cannot be everywhere at the same time. Your guys are on the field, they saw what happened, but most of the time, we saw it on social media. Most of these reports are being doctored when they bring it back to the office to report. Different from what we saw directly on the field, where we see people counting 1, 4, 7, 10, 100, 200, and they drop all manner of numbers. And reporters will also come back to report to us that a certain candidate who's those goes in favor has secured about 2,000 votes, when actually what they saw online, there is no journalist will never critique what we see now. We just speak it probably, and we want to believe that it is because many of us have been induced, and that is where the problem is. And we begin to feel worried for democracy, because if it continues this way, litigation will begin again. And what does that mean? On those states now, as we speak, we always have off-cycle election, which is having negative effect on the people and citizens of Ondo State. Our election is supposed to go at par with other elections in the state, but because of the litigation that took us about 2-3 years in the days of Olusegun Agagban and Olusegun Bimiku, we are now conducting off-cycle election. Let me make it as an example. A sitting governor, let me just do this clarification here. If there is a sitting governor who knows that members of the House of Assembly will not be having his election same day with him, and he knows the implication if they do not return to the House of Assembly, either they like it, either the people like it, or they impose such people on the candidate because he will want to preserve his own seat. Because coming back, this morning I was reading, I never knew how true it is, that the National Assembly is now proposing that there will be an not voting, transmission of result, which they earlier rejected. And the person is making jest of them that when we were saying it, you thought you got an automatic ticket, and now that most of you now have gone back home and came back and discovered that there are no automatic tickets anywhere, you want to do the right thing, which you are supposed to do ab initio when the matter came up. So that's what we are talking about, that if we've allowed this to continue, and INEC as a body did not come out to say no, the electoral law permits that election should be declared, where the result should be declared where the election is being conducted. If we are still waiting a week, 10 days after conducting election, and most political parties have not seen their result, then INEC and the law should step in that no, there have been instances in this country where we conduct governorship election and big political parties do not have candidates because they flout INEC orders and nothing happened, even did not fall. So INEC should be able to wage their sword, their hammer now to say every political party who has gone against the law, the electoral act, the constitution, and their own rule, even the party rule, most of the parties have gone against their own rule, the rule they set up themselves. We should stop them. INEC as a body, that is why we say they are independent. It is now we want to see how truly independent they are. They should be able to say, no, this is against your party rule, it's against the constitution, it's against the electoral, then we cannot accept it. Because most of the results now, if you are now announcing 2 weeks after, what INEC has set its timetable which started about a month ago, since March, that will run from then till January, when we have the election. So if you are now saying because some parties have not been able to produce candidates, then we are still waiting for them, no, it is not correct. We want to charge INEC at this point that they should look into the primaries very well. Whatever has happened and have gone. While we are expecting the list of political parties to submit their list of candidates to INEC to say, okay, these are the people who eventually made it. The result ought to have been declared at the venue of the election. That is the law, right, except it has been changed.
Back to you. So, Mother Jeffrey, I guess you are still here with us.
I'm with you, loud and clear.
Okay, looking at the primaries, don't you think it's too expensive for ordinary Nigerians to participate in? Because you mentioned earlier on that we are looking at competence. So is it everyone that can afford this?
Especially those that we consider to be truly competent.
Competent.
Well, like I said, the system is too far from being over. It's one serious flaw, one serious inadequacy that is, for me, is condemnable in its entirety. When you look at, where we are in terms of the economic challenge in this country, it is, for me, it's a deliberate, concocted, well-orchestrated wickedness on the part of the party leader to be charging like 100 million for presidency, to be charging like 50 million for governor, to be charging like 20 million for senate and the rest of them. What they are saying in essence is this thing is meant for few. All right? And so the few that are there, and that's why they want to die there. There's no accountability. There's no feedback mechanism properly in a lot of ways and all that. Because ordinarily by now, it's unfortunate that what IBB did was the best for this country. You could recall that it came up with two-party system, SDP and NRC. You could recall that the system then, the government then viewed party secretariat across all the local governments in this country then. The 774 local governments, I'm right. The structures are still there till now that we are talking. We could recall that no individual would have the power to come and take over or hijack the party. So that it becomes, a community affair. But what are we seeing today? Party just wake up to say, we are charging 100 million, we are charging 50 million. What is the meaning of that? Credible Nigerians who have what it takes to deliver, to represent the people are being change are being shut out completely. So these are areas that quite a lot of us on the CSO, civil society organizations and non-governmental organizations to begin to just sit down to look at. It is condemnable. We must conduct a national referendum, a national summit, and a conference on this. No party, no political party, let it be in the electoral law to charge above so amount. That's one. Two, then there should be provision in the electoral law too. Here they are talking about equity now, women involvement. Now in this outgoing National Assembly, for instance, you have only 4 that are senators that are women out of 109. Now, as we speak right now, the number is being reduced by those that are going back there. If we check the 308 or House of Rep members, how many of them are women? There should be special consideration for individuals. For instance, maybe private independent candidates. There should be provision for it. So that I don't need to pay. If my people believe in me that I can deliver, I should have a platform to be able to vie and to compare. Then emphasis should be on consequences management. In collaboration with institutions like ICPC and EFCC and NFIU and all of them. That look, on no account should anybody be seen to be inducing the public, the electorate with money and so many other things. So for me, this strategy they're taking it too far. It is an absurdity taken too far. Considering the socio-economic challenges that we are facing in this country. No party for president, for instance. There are other ways in terms of clearly defined criteria to weed out people so that it's not become all commerce affair. It should be that, okay, we draw the line that you must be in a party if you want to contest for president. Have you contested for House of Reps? Have you been a councillor before? Have you been a chairman before? Have you done well? Have you been a governor before you can aspire? All those clearly things will be set aside. But ultimately, having scaled through, they must even screen people first. Screen all of them first before you even say them to come and pay. So that you have a way of narrowing it down, having fulfilled all righteousness under a clearly defined, yes, we follow this democracy from America. But by the concept and the philosophy of the Review Nigeria 360 degree, which we are launching now full blast now, we should begin to define and remodel a borrow concept we call democracy, to begin to look at meritocracy, wherein you cannot be a councillor. It literally meaning of a councillor should be somebody who is resourceful enough, who is knowledgeable enough, who have experience in whether in corporate world or in the private sector, to be able to advise the chairman. Now, what do we have? We have area boys who are councillors in the local government. We have area boys who are, at that level. So what advice are they going to give the chairman?
Well, thank you very much, Mode. I'm sorry for...
to be from there. Councillors should be seasoned and retired teachers who have worked in primary, secondary school or whatever, and retire. Who are just there, it's not money, but to be able to gauge, to help, to navigate, to ensure that the ROS in the local government, the chairman, do what it's supposed to do in terms of delivery, good governance and service delivery.
Thank you very much, sir. Because of our time, I will have to cut in at this time. Please, because of our time is not on our side. Let me come to IPAC chairman here. Finally, because time is also gone. There is something now in political parties generally. You have leaders either at national level, at whatever level, then you have party chairmen and the rest. And this is really a serious problem sometimes where even party chairmen don't have power and the leader takes all decisions. But party chairman now goes to leaders to ask for instruction and directives and so many other things. In your own opinion, what do you think is wrong with this system, or is it proper that way? Because you are a political party leader.
Thank you very much. It is always a wrong decision most of the time that we think when we should move forward in this democracy. Bringing all the structures of the political party and investing it in the executive is always a wrong calculation. We've been saying it, we do not know where it came from. It wasn't like that before. The party hierarchy takes decisions, over their political parties back then. But these days, we discover that even when we have the national chairman, when we have the state chairman, they are still under the executive. And that is why we kept saying it. It affected, when you look at the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, they are supposed to operate independently. But the question is, how come the legislature and the judiciary are always under the executive? And that is the madness the people now brought back to political party and say, no, the party are now to be under the executive, whereby it is only the executive that take decisions that will now, the party will now work with, both at the local, at the state, and at the federal. But it is, in my opinion, that will not take us far at all, because it is the party who sit and see and look at the affairs of the political party, like what Jeffrey was saying the other time. People, how long have you been in the party? What is your contribution? And the executive who came just a year in office couldn't have known people who have worked for the party. Those who became party executives at the state, at the national, are people who expected that would have been with the party over years. They have understood the party. They already knew, the back and front of it. They are just like the door that sees both the outside and the inside. But when somebody now came, because in the name of executive, and say, I am not the leader of the party, and the chairman will now be taking instructions for me. Though it was not announced, but we knew that that is what is going on underground in almost all the political parties.
Yes, any political party that has an executive now.
That is what is going on. And this is the truth is, because the executives are the one funding the party greatly, and that is where the problem is. In those days, as a party member, all of us, we fund the party at your own level. But these days, I can bet you, as for many, party leaders, the last time their members paid dues. And that is why INEC is trying to say there must be a party register, digitalized party register that must be submitted to INEC. We do not have that before. And I want to say it, here now, that my own party, the Boot Party, started digitalizing membership registration. And it is on that model that they sold to INEC. Come, you cannot continue this way. Members will be the one funding party and not the executives. That is why all of us now run to the executive to take orders. But if it is members that are funding the party, then I should be able to say, no, the executive is different from the party. The party runs, the executive runs. But now, that is why development is very poor almost everywhere in the country. Because when the governor comes into office, they spend the first 1 year celebrating. The second year, trying to form government. The third year is already looking for re-election, or who is coming after him, or who is going out of the cabinet, or who has offended him. The fourth year, election year. So nothing, practically the people do not benefit anything. Those are supposed to be the job of the party. Doing this, looking at how we restructure the party, how the government, why the government focus solely on governance. But these days, not like that. The government, the governor, the president want to look at what happened within the party. And they want to tell the party this is how to go. Both at the national and at the state. And it's completely an aberration. And that is why our democracy is not moving as we expected it to move, whereby somebody will sit down and determine the fate of over 200 million Nigeria. It is not correct. Then narrowing it down to the ruling party now. It's unfortunate that the ruling party wants every Nigerian to act as if they are members of their party. And that is what we think will backfire with the recent court judgment that was given, when the youth party took INEC to court, that come. You cannot submission of primary according to our electoral act should be around September. Why did you say 10 days before primaries? You are already cutting people out. I am not supporting people cross-carpeting on and on. But at a time when institutions are supposed to stand and face what they are meant to do, but they are doing every other thing that is distracting the people, then people should be able to come out. And that's why I commended the youth party and the Justice Umar for doing for that wonderful judgment that no, INEC face what you are supposed to do. The electoral provided that submission of party registration membership is still until September. You cannot cut it off in May. You can't bring it back. What the law says is that you cannot exceed that time. Not that you now bring it from September to May because you want to cut some people off guard. And if that is happening, I think the majority of Nigerians will benefit from it. Then we can say there's what is called participatory democracy. But as we speak, I doubt this is a national television. We are not benefiting from this participatory democracy as of now. Everything is tailored around few people, which is not supposed to be. Democracy is about the people, the greatest number of people, not just the few people. And once I get this power, I can wield it on the party, then the party will wield it on members. Every one of us cannot be a member of, a single political party in Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much for that, Mode Abidoye. Thank you for staying with us. In just 1 minute, please, your final word on this program this morning.
Well, thank you so much. It will always be my pleasure. I am an uncommon Nigerian. I believe so much in this country because this is we are a people and a nation that is the best of God's creation. When we look at 25, 26, 27 years longest unbroken democracy, we are far from where we should be realistically, but we have made remarkable progress too. And I believe that in the words of F. Kennedy, one-time president of America, that's my passing shot. Rather than keep asking for what America can do for you, ask what you can do for America. That's the point we are in. There was Obasanjo, there was Yaradua, there was Jonathan, there was Buhari. Now we have Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There's no government that has come that has not been harshly criticized by Nigerians. But at this point, having seen it up to this point, the president cannot be, a vote from. It can't be in all the places. So we as citizens have a role to play. As voters, we have a role to play. If you are, whatever you are, you have a role to play. Let us begin to ask ourselves, what are we bringing to the table positively, beyond just running mouth on social media criticizing? But we should be thinking, because that's the difference between America and others. When there's a conflict between the corporate interests of America and personal or individual interests, the corporate interests of America take precedence. And that's why when you see after their own election, they don't go to court, not because they are no inadequacy. But here, they want to pursue from tribunal to Supreme Court and all that. So all of us, including the electorate, including myself, I'm talking. And this is what we represent in the Green Nigeria 360 degrees. Let us begin to think of how we can rise up to contribute meaningfully and positively to this country. We should be less of ourselves, me, myself, and I. Let's be all sacrificial. A brand new Nigeria is looking. I see it coming, and definitely we will get there. That will be the most sought after country in the world. Good morning, Nigeria. God bless you, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you very much.
My other brother said.
Thank you very much.
Chairman, God bless you.
God bless you, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Alex Adeniyi, your final word on this program this morning.
Let us continue to believe in Nigeria, that it will work, and it will work. That is my own resolve, that Nigeria will work in my own time, and work towards that Nigeria works in our own time. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for staying with us on this program, and right now we are going to the next segment, which is entertainment segment. Please don't go away.